Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is your host, Dave. We got a special guest from the Smith family Pro 80 E85 racing team, Dalin and Clinton Smith. How you guys doing?
All right. How are you?
Doing good, Dave. How are you, man?
I'm good. So you excited about the 2021 racing season with the Pro E85 guys?
Oh, yes. Smith boys ready.
Yeah, we've been ready for what, Dad? The last 4 years, maybe.
Yeah, well, we've been following them around like a lost puppy dog for about 10 years. So we was able to change over to the fuel.
So what kind of racing were you guys doing for the past 10 years?
Well, we won 2012 championship, 890 championship at 41. And from there, we went with the Midwest Superstock Mafia. And from there, we went with the Chicagoland Superstocks. And then now we're with the Pro E85 group.
Nice. Yeah, a great bunch of guys those guys are.
Oh, yeah. Great bunch of guys.
We've been knowing, half those guys, prior to us even, joining the group.
So they probably welcomed you with open arms, huh?
Oh, yeah. Frank and Tim is waiting on us to come and help them out.
Oh, yeah, broke ass brothers racing.
No, we're not, but we're Smith boys racing, but we've been knowing Frank and Tim to 20, 30 years.
I was referring to those guys, the broke ass brothers racing team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how did you get into drag racing? There he is from your dad got you in it?
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. It all started with my grandfather, Gerald Demon Smith. And that started way back in the 1950s. And, my dad, he had an interest for it and kept it up. And I always say that I'm 43 years old now, and I always say that I was born at US 30 and raised at Great Lakes Dragway. So, it's been in our family a long time, and I would say that, after being, drag racing enthusiast, all the way up to, from the 1950s up to, the early 2000s, and then now, me and my dad, developed this racing team, put our funds together, and actually was able to build a car and live this dream that, we've sat on the sidelines and watched, pretty much all our lives, for, 3 generations. So, it's kind of a good deal that, being so interested and wanting to be involved in a sport for so long, and then you're actually able to do it and then have fun doing it in the process.
So what year did you start racing, Dalin?
We started in 2004. We started racing in 2004. It took us, Dad, about 5 years to actually have the car built. And then once we got it built in 2004, we were rolling. We had to work out all the bugs and get everybody used to, because my dad actually started driving when we first got the car. So I'm currently the driver, but I didn't get in the seat until probably about a year and a half after 2004. So it's that's how long we've been doing it.
So Clinton, are you the crew chief?
Yeah, you can say that. I service the car, and I have a lot of help from Rob Adler at A-Team Speed Shop. He's been real helpful in helping us get our combination together, because we were an all-motor car. 3,500 pounds. We were running 880s, power windows. We have a big tire up under there, so 3316 up under there. We have a Tommy Mooney Fab 9 rear end in there out of Rob Adler's 63 Pro Mod Vet. There's a 598 in there, conventional head, one carburetor. We did put a nitrous kit on there because we had to take some compression out of the motor. We were 16 to 1. We were on the dyno for about a week and a half. It would not burn that E85, so we changed the pistons. We're now at 13 and a half to 1. And we put a fogger on there just in case we need it. But we only made like 2 hits, and already it went 911.
Not bad.
So we just need a couple more passes and to see which way we're going to go. We have like a 500 gear in the rear end. I don't know if I'm going to have to take that out or what. And there's just a 150 shot of nitrous on there right now. Like I said, we haven't used it yet, but
well, let's hope this diet that I'm on, Dad, I lost a few pounds. I'll be, you don't need to use that nitrous, lighten up the car a little bit.
yeah.
So
how much does the car weigh?
My dad's definitely the crew chief and the brains of the operation. I'm the crazy no brains driver. You got to have somebody crazy behind the wheel. And I get all the grunt work when it comes time to fixing on the car and stuff like that. So, but it's good to have everybody that does their part. And, that's what makes a great team.
So without you in the car, Dalin, how much does the car weigh?
3,000.
Car had to weigh 3,150. Around 3,150 without him in there.
Yeah. So
then you want to add that 250 and on him, and that'll put us around 3,450, 3,500. But like I said, we're very excited about running with these guys. They've a great bunch of guys. Can't say enough about Rich Black, the president, how he has really did a lot for the group. Dwayne started it out. He did what he could with, what he had and the time that he had. But Rich has really brought us through some things and got a lot of attention towards this group here.
Yeah,
it's definitely we've been striving to try to get to this. We tried the grudge racing scene, we tried the bracket racing scene, and we tried the whatever you would call I'm trying to think of the term here, but exhibition. We tried the exhibition side of things, and all these years, just with the way grudge racing is going, I don't mean to downplay it, but it becomes more of a hassle and a headache, and when all you want to do is get behind the wheel, go down the track and race, and do an exhibition style, not bashing those guys either, but it kind of took the racing out of the fun part of it for us, and we just decided that, hey, E85 guys, they're putting on a show, they're racing, and then they're all, we've got
And one thing about our group too, we use no electronics. This is all old school. You have to shift this car yourself. We don't allow electric shifters. We don't allow throttle stops. We don't have all of the tricks and toys that these other guys have. And it's a heads up 890 deal. And we have a whole conglomerate of cars. We've got supercharged cars. We've got turbo cars. We've got nitrous cars. And we have horsepower cars, and people was like, well, how you going to run with a supercharged car? Well, it got to run 892, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's wheels up, bumper dragging. That's, you know, nothing that's zipping down the strip. You know, we put on one hell of a show, believe it or not.
Yeah,
so y'all come out and see us. Stop by in the pits.
Well, welcome to the Pro E85 family, guys. I hope this is your home for many years to come.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's gonna be fun. You know, I always say that it's, you know, with Smith Boys Racing, I mean, we tend to get the job done, but it's definitely to us 25% rate, 75% having fun. I mean, you know,
exactly.
We're always in the pits having fun. We got the barbecue grill going. I mean, hell, I've had people tell us that we got more smoke coming from our barbecue grill than Rich Black's burnouts. So, you know, it's definitely a good organization. I mean, you know, without, you know, any of these sponsors, you know, Ignite Fuel, Da Vinci, you know, Lango's Pizza, you know, there's, you know, without all these sponsors, I mean, to make the actual races fun, I mean, without it. You know,
and that Da Vinci carburetor is awesome, because when we put my motor was on the dyno, and I mean, we fired the motor up, and Frank Morgan was by here, and all we had to adjust was the idle. You know, those are some hell of a carburetors. I can't wait to start the season out with it and see how many people would put on the trailer with all those power adders.
So now, when you raced, Clinton, how many years were you a racer?
Oh, let's see. I started in high school. My dad got me started. My dad was 30 years Chicago police officer, but he worked at Acme Steel, and he got in the late 50s. He got laid off. He had a 55 Chevy, and he started racing on the street to feed us. He had a family of 3, and I got into it when I was 16 years old. A man by the name of Hunter Street Sam, everybody knows him, gave me a body, a 66 Chevy. Was passing by his gas station, and I seen it out front, and my dad and us, we pulled up in there and said, whose car is that? Why? I says, well, my son wanted it. He says, well, take it home. We just wanted the motor. So I got a beautiful custom paint job 66 Chevy, and I started racing that with a 400 small block with a 400 turbo transmission. It had a 410 gear, 4-barrel carburetor. I ran like 1480s. I ran an ET9 at US 30 for many years. And from there, my dad went into antique, and then he had a 40 Buick Coupe. From there, we bought a 55 Chevy, and then my son said, hey, let's go drag racing, and I thought that the 55 suspension would be outdated, so my mother-in-law had a 86 Cutlass that the transmission had gone, and I told David, well, if you buy that, you know, we can start out with that, and we bought parts for 5 years, and then Larry Chrisman in Chesterton, Indiana, built this car from scratch. I have pictures from when we put it together, and the rest is history.
So after all these years, what still keeps the passion going?
Well, it's a family thing, number one. We have fun. You're racing with a great group of guys. And you can bond with your kids, whatever, you know, with the grandkids. It's a family deal.
Yeah. It's all aspects of racing, Dave. It's you know, I mean, God, I mean, where do you start? I mean, it's, you know, the smell of burning rubber, the smell of burning racing fuel, you know, the oohs and the ahs of the crowd. I mean, you know, when you're sitting in the car, just the adrenaline of when that car leaves the line and, you know, you're popping, you know, 2 to, you know, 3 foot, maybe even 4 foot wheelies, and God forbid anything higher than that. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, yeah, we sat out last year getting our car fixed, trying to get the conversion over to E85. And we made a race or two, and just sitting on the sidelines and seeing all of this, I mean, you miss it so much. And, you know, I looked at my dad and I told him, I said, how in the hell can anybody not love this sport? I mean, just the roaring of the motors, you know, and people hitting gears coming down the track, and burnouts, and old Mike Gold up in the tower, you know, just, I mean, giving the crowd everything he can. I mean, it's I don't know what there is not to love about this sport. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah. Red Baron be drumming it up, don't he?
Yeah. So.
He's a good announcer, and for a plate of food, he will give you a good plug.
Yeah. Jerk chicken seems to be his favorite deal. And then Frank Morgan found out about the jerk chicken in the tower, and all of a sudden he felt now his name's all over coming out of the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me I need to try Frank's jerk chicken.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Frank's recipe come from me. I know you get me, Frank.
Yeah. There's always that guy behind the scenes that nobody talks, but that's all right. You come grab a plate next time you're in the pits.
Yeah, and then another thing about Great Lakes Dragway, you gotta love that the return road goes right past the fans, and they can stand up and cheer for you and all that good stuff.
You know, that's the main part about it. That's what makes it so great there, you know, is that you can come back down. Even when I was a kid, the cars, you know, coming back down, if you didn't make it over into the pits, at least you got a close-up view of the cars when they came back, you know, and our group stopped after the first
right
elimination run, and we all stopped, come back together and stop in front of the fans and give away goodies and stuff.
Now, are you guys going to have hero cards?
Yeah, we're working on it. I need to light a fire. My dad's been on me for, you know, quite some time to get it taken care of, but we'll definitely have some this year.
All right, so Dalin, what do you enjoy most about being a drag racer?
What I enjoy most about being a drag racer is the camaraderie of, you know, all of the racers. I mean, you know, it's just amazing how, you know, despite, you know, all that we got going on in this country now, you know, politically and, you know, racially and whatnot, that in drag racing, you can talk to, you can be all as one in drag racing. All that everybody is concerned about is being good friends and good racers to one another. So, you know, that's my favorite part of drag racing, is that I all these years I've seen people put aside, you know, all of the issues, personal issues that we have amongst one another, and come together as one, as racers. So
yeah, let your car break down and see how many people come to help you.
Yeah.
And we'll tell you, step back, I got this.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I don't think there's one racer out there that hasn't had help from another racer and been successful. So, I mean, you see guys that come out to the track and, you know, maybe all they know how to do is drive, and then if they got a problem, there's always somebody out at the track that's willing to give a helping hand. And you know, that's one of the things I love about it. I mean, I'm an outdoor person anyway. You know, my two hobbies or I say three hobbies is, you know, drag racing number one, hunting number two, and golf from number three. So all three of those are outdoors. So definitely outdoors is you know, an outdoor sport is, you know, one of it being an outdoor sport being one of my favorites. So, you know, but most of all, it's just the camaraderie and and the familyship that, drag racing brings for me.
Is there anything that you hate about drag racing?
Yeah, you can't do it every day.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. You can't do it enough.
A bad day of drag racing is better than a good day at work.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could have the drag race fans remember one thing about you, Dalin, what would you want that one thing to be that the fans remember about you?
Oh man, definitely. I mean, that we're just good. We're just a good, wholesome racing team. I mean, we put on the show. I mean, that blue car sticks out. It's a Cutlass. It's unique. So,
break that Camaro stuff up.
Yeah, So, I mean, this car has been around for quite some time, and we think it's pretty well known just because of its uniqueness. So, I mean, but just being somebody that's able to put on a show for the fans. I mean, that's our primary concern, because we've definitely seen drag racing taking a hit over time, with the COVID deal and just the lack of interest, I should say, in the new generation. So in order to bring that fan base back, it's definitely top. On my to-do list to give the fans what they want to bring them back to the stands and make this a great sport again.
Yeah. Then with COVID, we just lost that track in Indiana, the Osceola.
Yeah, Osceola. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, nobody, and they tried to sell it, but they couldn't get it sold with everything that was going on with it.
Yeah, it's always a shame when you lose a old track like that.
Yeah. So we've got to do our share as racers and try to get fans back in the stands. And I think that the Pro E85 group, I'm pretty confident that Rich Black and the whole group are going in the right direction to do this. I mean, they just started a 10-0 class portion of the E85, as most know. So we're just bringing more aspect, to the organization. I mean,
our cars are more identify than the street cars. I mean, we go make a pass. If our hood is up, it's just to show somebody or to look for a leak. We don't oil the track down. We put on a real great show. We might leave a bumper or two on the track, but hey, it's all in racing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a class act and a show of professionalism with this group. But also, I mean, like I said, I mean, the diversity of the cars. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, you watch racing on TV, and it's no disrespect intended, but it's Mustang after Mustang, Camaro after Camaro, just all of the same cars. But then now you start throwing, trucks and and then the mixture of, not only just, Camaros or whatever, but, you got a mixture of nitrous cars, supercharged cars and turbo cars. So, I mean, just the overall.
We're going to try to do this on horsepower because we've never ran nitrous before. I'm always believed in building horsepower and not spraying the car. And we've been very successful with that. I've been accused of using nitrous throughout the years. A lot of tracks that we went to.
Well, then, that nitrous, it starts taking away from that 75% fun too. So now you 40%, 40-60 instead of 25-75.
Now, Dalen, do you think you can get any better as a drag race driver? And if so, how do you achieve that to get better as a driver?
Oh, always. There's always. I mean, I've always learned to keep learning, and it's just always about seat time and getting out there. I mean, you can definitely tell that after the winter time, you get back in the car and you're rusty. I mean, you're sitting, you're trying to start a burnout, and that your left leg shaking, and your right arm shaking because wanting to hit a gear. I mean, it's just, but after that first pass, I mean, it all comes back to life. But I mean, practice makes perfect. I mean,
he's been in training all his life.
Yeah.
Since he was able to go to the track, he's been in training to be a driver.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, like I said, 2005, it was, midway through 2005, when I first got my seat time, and, we were down at 41, and, my dad had, like I said, been driving for about a year and a half, and we were at 41, he was like, you want to make a pass, and hell, my eyes got, big as cassava melons, and I was like, hell yeah, what kind of question is that? So, I suited up and, got in the car, and I think my first pass was like a 9:53 or something like that. And my dad didn't expect that at all, never driving a race car before, and going through the burnout, perfectly, going through my gears perfectly, and it pretty much made a perfect run when I think all he wanted me to do was just kind of trot down the track and go through the gears on my first pass. So I guess that's what he's kind of handed over the seat.
That training paid off.
Yeah.
That training's paid off. I've always told him, we're not out there trying to put on a show for the crowd. If that car gets stupid, get out of it, race another day.
And then I totally ignored that probably about 2 years in.
Yeah.
But it all comes with experience, and when you know your car, and you know what the limits of it is. You're capable of doing that. And some people don't know the limits of their car, and that's when
you know when you're finna get stupid. Yeah.
So, way too much time, way too much money, way too much sweat, too many tears are put into these,
and build a safe car.
Yeah. So, for something to happen that that could have been avoided, you want to make sure that you know where that fine line is when you're behind the wheel.
So now, besides your dad being a big inspiration for you for drag racing, any other drag racers that inspired you?
You know what? I've always, I grew up and, Bob Litton was definitely one of my number ones. Lee Shepard, when I was growing up before he passed, and, Warren Johnson. I mean, those are all my guys, that I looked at, growing up, definitely, Tom Mongoose and Raymond Beadle and John the Snake Perdone. I mean, all those guys are guys that I love, and most importantly, every NHRA event we went to when I was a kid, I had to find Big Daddy Don Gartlitz. So I mean, for that guy to be a pillar of drag racing and to actually meet him, so. He is probably one of my most inspirational drivers, based on, him, like I said, being, a pillar to NHRA drag racing, him, with his designs and stuff to, that have motivated other teams to do the same, the rear engine dragster, the small, airplane wheels on the front, the wing on the back. I mean, good God. I mean, that guy is just a a guide when it comes to drag racing. So I say Don Goddard would probably be my number one on the list.
Now, how about you, Clinton? Who were your inspirations when you started racing?
Oh boy, I've had so many. I'm an old guy, but my favorite car was Stonewoods and Cook's 41 Willys. They really inspired me. Those were before the funny cars came out. Those were our funny cars, I guess you can call it. From then, we had some local racers that, it's still around today. And, I try to catch this car anytime I know if it's going to be somewhere. And that's Big Mustino's Shake, Rattle, and Run.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys have inspired me over the years on how to be a sportsman and how to keep your car clean. The other one would be Clint Smith from US 30. He was one heck of a bracket racer, and he was really fast on the lights.
And I tell you, if we had a nickel for every time people thought that my dad was that Clint Smith, we'd probably be racing the NHRA circuit. We'd have enough money for that.
Now, how about a guy like Arnie the Farmer Beswick?
Oh, yeah. Arnie, I can go back. We got Palmer Lazarus that raced up at the Grove. We got, way back in the day, there was Mike Marinoff. He was a big inspiration to me and my dad. He had a Latham Blown Willys back in the day. There was the Coca-Cola Cavalcade of Stars here at US 30. Who didn't get going when they saw that? It was just so many people that inspired you.
Yeah, when I was like 4 or 5 years old, that's when my dad started dragging me to US 30 and Great Lakes Dragway both. I'll be 53 this year. So.
Okay. Yeah, I know when the our farms, when we was at US 30, he would bring out this green monster, and this thing would basically explode when it left the line. And every time he would come out, I would run to the car and hide in the car till he went by. Like I said, there's a lot of racers that inspire you. You can take a little bit from each one of them, but you go where your money can take you. I want to be like John Forrest, but I got beer money,
Yeah.
But I'm where I want to be because I've always been fond of the super stockers. Even when I was 1971, my dad took me to Indianapolis, and that was the first time I ever seen a station wagon hang the wheels up, and he ran like a 13-something. I was like, you got to be kidding. And I've been hooked ever since. It's just the roar of the cars, the crowd. There's just so many things that'll get you going. You can get up close and personal with the drivers like us. Come over in the pits and visit us.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun time and for the fans. If they can get around in the pits, hopefully they can come by and see the Smith boys and all the 85 guys.
Yep, and look and say, all I need is a motor. I ain't got to have a full chassis car to do this.
Yeah.
So now, Dalin, when you get in staging lanes, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions when you get out there?
You know what? There's one thing that we do in the staging lanes, and my dad, he knows what else. So we're in the staging lanes, and it's time to put the helmet on and put the gloves on and get the 5-point harness tightened up, and then my dad will come over and He'll make sure that all of my belts are tightened, and he'll wrench on them as tight as they can be, and then he'll slap me on my chest 2 or 3 times and say, "Go kick some ass." You know, that's our ritual before every run, whether it's a test of tune or whether it's eliminations.
That slap in the chest is to knock them butterflies out. You know,
but not me. I wanted to.
I know how it is. You get in that first light, and I don't care how many years you've been racing, that leg is gonna start quivering.
Yeah.
So you guys prefer quarter mile or 8 mile racing?
Quarter mile.
Yeah, we like out the back door.
Yeah, 8th mile is okay, but my opinion on the 8th mile is if you make one mistake, and the race is over with. At least the quarter mile, I can gather up and run you down with them big motors and stuff.
Yeah, so I would love to be up in Texas this weekend watching the 8th mile, 68 funny cars. Man. The funny car cast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got a couple big show cars.
Yeah, for the nitrous cars, they can get away from them turbo cars and hope they don't run them down before they get there.
So what's the fastest the Colors has gone?
877, 152 on the back bumper up at the Grove.
Now, what year was that?
And that was all motor. That was about 2 years ago. And it's been a constant low 880s. Byron, Cordova, 131.
Yeah, that's one thing about our car that we really, love is that no matter what track we go to, the car runs so consistent.
Yeah, we can get down it. Yep.
That's one of the reasons why we're not as ecstatic about running nitrous, but if we have to run it, it'll only take a matter of time for us to get used to it. But for us to be all motor and we know that car. No matter what track we went to, from all the way up to 131, all the way to Cordova, and down to 41. That car will run, within a tenth, or less on any track of every run.
So, what is your favorite track to run on?
131 after there. Oh, well, the Grove with the fans.
Yeah, the Grove with the fans.
Yeah.
But as far as smoothness, we have to be with 131.
We've been out to 66, but, they can't seem to get their stuff together. That's a really nice track, too. But I just wish that they'd get their stuff together for the racers.
Man, no one knows the future of 66, what's going to happen with that track.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty depressing,
Yeah, well, I ain't been there in 7 years. I don't believe in going to sit in the staging lanes for 2 hours.
That's what happened.
But like I said, the Grove is the fans, before I would even race, and I would go up there and sit with the fans, and they appreciate racing so much up there. They was, I polled them, and I was like, hey, would you guys rather see some handicap race? No. We'd rather see 2 20-second cars go down there and see some guy come out here with his mom's Cadillac and beat a real race car because he smoked the tires a little bit, So they really love their heads up racing up there. They great group of people. And like you say, you come down in front of them, and I've even seen racers, some of the big boys stop and get out like we do and go over there and shake the guys' hands and
Now, do you guys have a greatest memory of Broadway Bob?
I'm sure that has more than I do, but my biggest memory is at the end of the day or at the end of the track when that was it the Green Mamba that jet car.
Yeah, the one he sit on the nose of that one.
Yeah, sit on the front of that thing with a can of beer and it'll just put down the track. I thought that was the most amazing thing ever.
And didn't waste a drop of beer. My most fondest memory was we were coming into the track one day, and this gentleman just opened my door and got in the car and said, "Hey, take me this way," and turned out to be Broadway Bob.
Wow.
So needless to say, we got in the track free that day. But he has always been a showman. I mean, there was times that we would go up there racing, would be over with at 11 o'clock, and there was the rock and roll bands and the keg of beers and the corn that he would give away free.
And then at nighttime, they'd have the jet cars chained up to a junk car over there in the field. And
oh, yeah. Our Sibley and them, yeah. The Grovers always had some kind of action to keep them fans going up there, you know.
Yeah, I remember the car burning by the jet cars. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was for Sibley, I think it was. Yeah, he had that little pinto up in the air.
Then I remember how. Then I remember.
Yeah.
I remember Broadway bringing in the monster trucks and smashing cars down.
Oh yeah. and I think there was one time I was there and he had Bowser foot race the Bigfoot truck to the quarter mile.
Well, there was also a couple of races where they had the Bigfoot truck race a wheel stander too, right? But the wheel stand just didn't wheel stand. He just kind of went down the track and they kind of raced each other.
Yeah, they keep me entertained. They'll find something to do.
Then Broadway Bob inside that Dragonator.
Oh my God! You remember the Boreon?
Yeah.
The robot.
Yep.
Yeah, that the fans was hollering boring.
They weren't ready for training.
They didn't know what the ingenuity was that guy had to do to put that thing together like that. They didn't care if he was chewing on cars.
Yeah, he was quite a promoter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was one of a kind.
Yes, he was.
So do you, Dave? Do you make it out to all the 85 races? Or what's your track that you normally go to?
Well, Great Lakes is my closest track. I'm like 30 minutes from there. So, but last year we had no car. We still don't have a car fixed yet. But so we only made it out there one time because we got a ride over there, which was the jet car show day. But Pro 85 guys didn't run that day. But Frank Morgan was up there running with the Classic American Muscle Association.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of great groups.
Dedicated racing.
A lot of great groups that run at the Grove.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They know how to get the fans up there too.
Yep. God love the Chicago Wise guys.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Demos is in the air.
Oh yeah, over 26 years now. That guy's been running that Wise Guy group. Yeah. Yep.
That long?
Yeah.
Talking about your age.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, we hope to have our group running as long as those guys. Yeah. So far, I think Pro 85 has been around over 10 years now. I think so. Yeah, I think they started around 2010, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2000.
so they've been around